Hi, my name is Lucas and I am 16 years old. A couple of months ago, I was dating 3 girls and everything was really cool. But then I found one of the girls had a terrible secret that I shouldn't have known. You probably wonder why I had 3 girls. Well, I grew up with my dad who raised me in his own way. And my mother, I don't even remember her. I was a little child when she left us. Anyway, my life with my dad isn't so bad. He is rich and always buys me everything I want. So yeah, I don't care about my mother at all. Actually, the only thing about my dad you have to know is that he's a lover. Oh yeah, anytime I see him, he's with a woman. And each time, it's a different woman. I don't know what his secret is. Well, I guess he's just buying them all kinds of things and stuff. You might wonder if he gives me money too. Hell yeah, he does. And I don't care at all who he dates as long as I have a few $100 in my pocket. Just don't date my mom. Oh, I almost forgot. Sometimes I steal his ladies and go walking with them somewhere. They're just too pretty. Just like my dad, I also found it fun to change girls often. I just like beautiful girls and I like their attention and care. And all I have to do is buy sweets for them and flirt with them. But 3 months ago, I happened to get into a very extraordinary relationship. Ellie and Gina are 2 of the most beautiful girls I ever saw. At least for the last 24 hours. I met them at a friend's party and I fell in love with both of them. For a long time, I couldn't decide who I liked more. And for a whole month, I was dating both Ellie and Gina. However, soon, they solved the problem by coming on a date together. The 3 of us went to a school party where they became a bit relaxed and started kissing me and telling me that they love me. If they only knew. I don't care, ladies, at all. All I need is my room cleaned, my studies done, and, of course, I always want to be entertained. But that evening, something gentle woke up inside of me, and I decided to take them to my house for the night. And the next morning, I decided to date them. And you won't believe it, but all 3 of us got into a relationship. But that's not even all. Soon, I found a 3rd girlfriend. The next day, I asked some girl to clean up my house for Ellie and Gina. Her name was Kira, and she was beautiful. OMG, she was so smoking hot. I invited her to join our squad. But to surprise her, I decided to throw around some cash a bit to show her just how rich I am. Then I decided to take my dad's car and drive us around the city and have lots of fun. And as you already know, my dad always had money for me, so I started buying all kinds of gifts for all 3 of them and I just couldn't believe it. Soon we started a relationship all together. Moreover, this relationship with 3 girls turned out to be the longest in my life. Well, everything was cool until I began to notice something strange about Kira. She just started to pay less and less attention to me, and I couldn't understand what her problem was. I just kept flexing more and more, and I was like a brutal gangster showing off my power and abilities. However, Kira wasn't interested in me at all. Instead, she would often disappear somewhere and say she can't meet with us. I immediately realized that something was wrong, and I decided to find out the truth. I reached into my dad's stash, grabbed about $700, and went to the jewelry shop. I know that Ellie and Gina are crazy about all kinds of jewelry, so I bought them 2 pretty bracelets. But in exchange, I asked them to do me a favor and sneak with me into Kira's house. And, as I thought, they surely agreed. The next day, the girls invited Kira to a bachelorette party where they got her drunk and took her keys out of her purse. And a few days after, at midnight, we went to Kira's house. It was silent and dark, and the only place where light was coming from was the kitchen. We quickly ran through the corridor and saw the door to Kira's room was open. That means she's in the kitchen now. We quickly entered the room and hid there. According to our plan, I went under the bed and the girls jumped into her closet. The next minute, we all froze in place and waited for Kira. Suddenly, I heard footsteps. Heard Kira scream. Damn, I spilled tea on myself again. The next second, she turned on the light and went into the closet. Oh no, please don't go in there. But the next moment, there was another scream. What the hell are you doing here? How did you end up here? In a second, she became so angry that she wanted to call the police on the girls. Then Ellie came up with a brilliant idea and told her, "Come on, Kira, it's just a new scary prank on the internet. Drop your panic and chill." Soon, everyone was calm and the girls started to talk about all kinds of things. But then I heard something that put me into a shock. The girls sat at the computer where Kira started showing them some boys she met a week ago. But what I had heard next was even worse. I guess the other 2 girls completely forgot about our plan and about me hiding under the bed. They just soon started shouting, "Wow, what handsome guys. Will you introduce us to them?" And, I guess I can, but one of them is already my boyfriend. But what about the second one? He is also pretty, "Hey, I promise we will do anything for you if you introduce us to this handsome boy." Well, that was enough for me. I couldn't listen to that nonsense anymore, so I got out from under the bed and yelled at them. "Are you all crazy or what?" Kira in shock screamed so loud that her parents woke up. The next minute, her mom and dad ran into the room, and she told them I broke into their house to molest her. And I didn't even have time to say anything when they grabbed me and kicked me out of the house. Ellie and Gina, though, I guess they were allowed to stay there overnight. That's how they all framed and betrayed me. I felt just awful. Emotions were killing me, and I don't wish any of you to experience such a terrible feeling. I was so anxious and exhausted that I barely made it home, and when I got to my room, I just fell on the bed and burst into tears. I have never cried so much in my life. Since then, I haven't seen any of those girls again. They all left me and disappeared. I stayed alone for a whole month, and I didn't even try to look for new girls. I just thought that they're all the same, you know? I thought all they can do is to use boys and then break their hearts as it happened with me. But soon I realized that there are also good, sincere, and truly loving girls. And that's how Andrea is. The girl who had been in love with me for many years, but she was shy to show it. Of course, she's not as pretty as my exes, but she's a wonderful person, and I'm sure she'll never betray me. And I realized it's much more important than just a beauty.
When I was about 14, I noticed something on my body that truly freaked me out. One single hair dangling from my chin. Girls aren't supposed to have hairy faces, right? I was so self-conscious about it all the time. You know those all-white masks you can get for like arts and crafts or theater stuff? I nearly put it on to cover the hair, but I knew wearing that would be, or at least I did at first. Meanwhile, a new boy had started at our school, and he was just 100% wow. His name was Charlie, and I had never thought a guy was this cute, like ever. One day, out of the blue, he approached me. No boy had ever approached me suddenly like this. I couldn't believe a guy like him would. We actually hit it off. He was kind of flirting with me, and I was kind of flirting back. It was awesome. He asked me if I wanted to hang out on our lunch break, just the two of us, the next day, and I felt my cheeks burn bright red. Of course I said yes. Was I about to have my first boyfriend? It really felt like it. You're probably thinking, what's this got to do with your dad? So here's the thing. My mom died when I was pretty young. Like an idiot, I turned to my dad for advice. Without thinking, he said, "Why don't you let me shave it off for you?" I asked him if that would work, and he just shrugged. "It works for me," he said. "So why not you?" I remember thinking, well, he's got a point. He doesn't have a beard, so it must work. I was so wrong. He took me to the bathroom. He calmly and cautiously grabbed a spare razor blade, and he softly and safely shaved 2 hairs off for me. At the time, I was so excited. I didn't feel disgusting and ugly. I went to school and during lunch hung out with Charlie as we planned. I felt so confident and everything went great. I loved hanging out with him and could really feel my crush growing. But things were about to get a lot worse. The hairs grew back and they were darker and stiffer than ever before. So I copied what my dad did and shaved them off. But they came back again and again and again. Every single time I shaved them off, they came back worse and even more numerous. I couldn't believe it. Was I growing an actual manly beard? When my dad found out I'd been using his razors to shave my face without him around to help, he freaked out. He hid them from me. He wouldn't let me keep shaving my stupid Chewbacca-looking dumb face. Like I said, I do dumb things when I panic. You know that mask I had? I put it on. It was the only thing I could think to do. It did not work. I tried to play it cool, saying this was just my new style, but it didn't work. Everyone thought it was super weird, but it felt less embarrassing to be the kid with the weird fashion choices than the kid with a werewolf face. I wore that mask to school for 2 whole weeks. Teachers insisted I take it off, but I refused. Eventually they gave up. They let me wear it, but it drove all my friends away. The only person who would still talk to me was Charlie, but he was pretty freaked out about it, to be honest. He liked my alternative fashion sense, but he said the mask was a little bit too much for him. I could feel I was pushing him away. I didn't want to lose him. I was crazy about him, but I also didn't want him to see I had almost as much stubble as him. I ended up investigating it further, and it turns out I have something called PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome. I even got it properly diagnosed and everything. It's perfectly normal. It's when a girl has too many male hormones, and that can cause unexpected hair growth on a girl's body, like the hairs on my chin. And shaving them had just made it worse. With treatment and waxing instead of shaving, I was able to keep it under control. I was able to look perfectly normal. I confidently continued to date Charlie, and things grew to be pretty great between us. But the more I got used to living with my condition, the more I felt like I wasn't abnormal. The more I understood everyone is different, and that's okay. The more I understood that waxing my chin every week or so wouldn't always be convenient, and sometimes I would just have to accept having some hair on my face. And I need Charlie to like me for who I am, not who I look like after I've modified myself. Tonight, I'm meeting up with him. I've not waxed my chin. I'm going to be showing him the real me. I hope he still likes me. Do you think he will? Or should I wear my mask? Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you want me to follow up with another video about what he said. I hope he still likes me. I really, really do.